The best guy I played against might have been, Larry Bird, someone like that.
How good was
Michael
Bird?
Jordan.
People, I don't think people
don't
look
appreciate-
at him and think,
Yeah, they
oh, he's
said,
a white
no,
guy,
he's
slow guy.
chubby white guy. He wore us out, man. Because he just, this muscle here, the one between his ears, that was his best, because he made the 3-pointers and he had assists and rebounded, steals. He was always at the right place at the right time on the court. One of the great players, I had the opportunity to play with.
Larry Bird did something to NBA legends that LeBron James has never pulled off. He straight up scared them, not just nervous, actually shook. Magic Johnson admitted Bird was the only player who made his hands shake before games. Michael Jordan said Bird was the only opponent who ever got inside his mind. Gary Payton called him the most dangerous trash talker alive, and now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just confirmed what everyone always whispered but never said loud. Bird hit a level of greatness LeBron still hasn't fully matched. And this isn't coming from some random fan. Kareem played against Bird, watched the league evolve for 50 years, and saw LeBron's whole career unfold. When he says this, the whole conversation changes instantly. What makes it wild is Kareem actually respects LeBron's game big time. He's praised his professionalism, his leadership, his insane longevity, all of it. But when Kareem explains what separates Bird from LeBron, he's not talking stats or rings. He's talking about the soul of competition, the stuff you can't measure on paper. Bird didn't just dominate his era, he terrified it. And Kareem says there's a difference between being the best player on the floor and being the player everyone fears the most. One makes you great, the other makes you unforgettable. Look at it from Kareem's angle. This man went head-to-head with Wilt Chamberlain, one of the most physically dominant athletes ever. He battled Bird and Magic through the 80s, a decade many call the best era of basketball. Then he spent decades analyzing the modern game and watching LeBron from 2003 until now. Nobody else alive has that full view across 5 decades, from the old school bruisers to the modern stars. So when Kareem says Bird reached a gear that LeBron hasn't completely touched, that's not nostalgia. That's someone who's seen everything calling it exactly how it is. Kareem saw Bird's mental warfare up close, and that's why his words hit so hard. He remembers how the whole vibe in every arena shifted the second Bird showed up. Teams weren't just game planning for a forward. They acted like they were prepping for a full squad built into one dude. And Kareem once described Bird's game in a way that still gives people chills. He said Bird played chess while everyone else played checkers. That wasn't just a bar. That was real life. Bird read defenses before they even existed. He'd see plays developing 3 passes ahead, and just when defenders thought they finally boxed him in, he'd hit a wild angle shot or drop a pass nobody else even saw. His IQ wasn't just high, it felt supernatural. And the craziest part? He'd tell you exactly what move he was about to make, then pull it off while laughing right in your face. That kind of psychological control doesn't show up in stats, but every player from that era repeats the same thing. Bird got in your head and refused to leave. Now compare that to LeBron's style. LeBron dominates through preparation, study, and total control. He knows every opponent's tendencies, strengths, and flaws before the ball even tips. By game day, he's already won the matchup mentally because he's processed every scenario. That's why he stayed elite for 2 whole decades. But here's the difference Kareem pointed out. LeBron makes you respect his game. Bird made you fear facing him. 2 totally different feelings. When Bird stepped on the court, opponents felt real anxiety, like they knew he was about to take their pride, not just the win. When LeBron steps out there, players feel pressure, but they stay locked into their game plan. Both styles create champions, but only one leaves legends shaking their heads decades later. And now we gotta talk about the eras themselves, because this is where Kareem's whole argument really hits. The 1980s, the years Bird ruled, were absolutely brutal. The league Bird ruled wasn't soft, it was a battlefield. Hand-checking was legal. Defenders could grab you, bump you, push you, all with no whistle. The bad boy Pistons weren't just physical. They'd straight up try to wear you down so hard you'd hesitate before going to the rim again. The Sixers were the same, the Lakers were the same, the whole league played that rough. Every possession had to be earned through toughness. No spaced out floor, no 3-point craze opening lanes. Teams packed the paint, clogged the middle, and dared you to fight through bodies for every shot. And Bird didn't just survive that chaos, he cooked in it. Detroit would knock him down, Philly would hit him with elbows, and the next night he'd roll out like nothing happened, dropping 30 with that same smooth jumper. Kareem remembers all of this because he lived those wars too. He saw Bird absorb punishment that would end careers today. Back issues, nerve damage, constant pain, and Bird still played nearly 38 minutes a night for a full decade. No load management, no rest days, no skipping back-to-backs, just a stubborn refusal to let his body quit before his mind did. And this wasn't some tough guy myth. The numbers back it up. From 1984 to 1986, Bird averaged 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists on almost 50% shooting and nearly 40% from three. 3 straight MVPs, 3 titles in 5 years while going against rosters stacked with Hall of Famers, Magic and Kareem's Lakers, Dr. J's Sixers, Isaiah's Pistons. That's not dominance. That's dominance in the hardest era to do it. Now flip to LeBron's world. When he entered the league in 2003, basketball was already shifting. The sport was going global, becoming cleaner, more polished, more businesslike, and the rule changes, they flipped everything. Hand checking got banned in 2004, and defensive 3 seconds started being enforced hard. Suddenly, star wings had more space, more freedom, and more protection. When the rules changed, driving lanes opened wide and refs started blowing the whistle on anything that even looked tough. The whole league shifted overnight. The game stopped rewarding brute force and started rewarding speed, skill, and athleticism. Kareem never blamed LeBron for this. He just thinks it's wild how perfectly LeBron fit into the new era. LeBron's mix of size, speed, and power became unstoppable once defenders were no longer allowed to slow him down physically. And this is where Kareem's point really hits. LeBron's longevity isn't only about insane genetics. It's also about everything the modern NBA gives its stars. Advanced nutrition, recovery tech, sleep science, injury prevention programs, all built to keep players fresh for years. Today's teams have huge medical staffs, charter flights with seats that fold flat, custom training plans, and schedules designed around rest. Bird didn't get any of that. Bird played when teams flew commercial, practiced the morning after brutal games, and the peak of sports science was literally putting your knees in a bucket of ice. LeBron deserves respect for how disciplined he is with his body, but he also benefits from a system designed to protect stars. Bird never had that privilege. So when people brag that LeBron surviving 21 seasons makes him tougher than Bird's 13, Kareem shuts that down fast. He asks the real questions. What would Bird's career look like with today's medicine? What if he had modern back treatments? What if he wasn't grinding through 82 game seasons in a league where defenders openly aim to wear you down? Bird's body broke down at 35 not because he was weak, but because his era demanded physical sacrifice that would be considered wild today. LeBron still hooping at 40 is amazing, but he's also playing in a world built to keep him safe in ways Bird could never imagine. One career was built by surviving a war, the other by running a marathon with world-class support. Now let's hit the numbers, because even though Kareem says stats don't tell the full truth, they still paint a crazy picture. Larry Bird played only 13 seasons. But in that stretch, he averaged 24.3 points, 10 rebounds, and 6.3 assists. His shooting was elite, almost 50% from the field, nearly 38% from deep, and close to 89% at the line. He was one of the first players ever flirting with that legendary 50-40-90 level. Even today, that's rare. And Kareem remembers exactly why opponents dreaded him, not just because he scored, but because he controlled everything. Every rebound became a perfect outlet pass starting a break. Every possession had purpose. Nothing wasted, nothing sloppy, all execution. LeBron's resume, of course, stretches over 2 decades. Across 21 seasons, he's averaged around 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists on 50% shooting. 4 MVPs, 4 championships, and he now holds the scoring record that used to belong to Kareem himself. Those numbers are insane, and Kareem respects the discipline it takes to stay that great for that long. But when Kareem digs deeper, he sees something most fans never talk about: how the modern style boosts stats. Today's pace is way faster. Teams average around 100 possessions per game now, compared to about 95 during Bird's prime. More possessions means more chances to score, pass, and rebound. It's not shady, it's just straight math. What really blows Kareem away about Bird isn't just the numbers, It's the efficiency. Bird didn't need inflated pace, endless space, or constant freedom of movement. He put up elite stats in a slower, tougher era where every point cost you energy, bruises, and pride. And that's the piece of the puzzle people always sleep on. Bird didn't just produce. He produced in the most unforgiving environment imaginable. Under pressure, Bird didn't just show up, he leveled up. In elimination games, when everything was on the line, his numbers actually jumped to 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. In Game 7s, he shot over 50% from the field and barely turned the ball over. Kareem loves that part because it proves Bird's greatness came from timing and control, not just chucking shots. He didn't need the ball every possession. He needed it when the game was on the edge, and that's when he'd completely take over. LeBron's had legendary playoff runs too, no doubt. 2012, 2016, and 2020 showed how dominant he can be. But there were also chunks where his efficiency dipped when teams clogged the paint and dared him to beat them with a jumper. Then we hit the durability debate. And this is where things get messy. Bird's career ended at 35 because his back was cooked, making it impossible to keep going. Meanwhile, LeBron is still hooping at 40 and still at an all-star level. On the surface, it looks like LeBron is tougher or more committed. But Kareem doesn't buy that simple answer. He points out how the whole NBA structure changed. Today's stars travel on private jets, sleep in luxury, and recover with top-tier technology. Modern medical staffs catch injuries early before they get serious. The schedule still demands a lot, but it has way more built-in rest than Bird ever got. Bird played his 13 years in a league with way more contact and way less recovery. LeBron's 21 years come with scientific upgrades, better treatment, and a league designed to preserve stars. To Kareem, the real question isn't who played longer, it's who did more with the hand they were dealt. And by that standard, Bird's shorter window of pure dominance still hits hard. This is where Kareem's perspective goes deep. He's always believed greatness isn't measured by applause or headlines. It's measured by impact. Greatness isn't measured by headlines. It's measured by respect, especially the kind legends give each other when the cameras are off. And when you listen to how the all-time greats talk about Larry Bird, the whole tone changes. They don't call him the flashiest or the most athletic. They call him the one dude who could break you mentally before tip-off. Magic Johnson, his biggest rival, straight up admitted Bird was the only opponent who made him genuinely nervous, even when Magic was in his prime. Gary Payton said Bird was the coldest trash talker alive. And Michael Jordan, years after both retired, admitted Bird was the only player who truly scared him. That's not nostalgia, that's real respect built on psychological domination. LeBron gets a different type of praise from his peers. They respect his prep, his IQ, his leadership, his ability to carry squads, but it's not the same fear Bird created. And Kareem thinks it comes down to how each guy built their edge. Bird used mind games like a weapon. He wanted to take your confidence, crush it, and smile while doing it. He'd call his shot, tell you exactly what was coming, then hit it anyway while laughing. That wasn't arrogance, it was calculated psychological destruction. LeBron's method is different. He wins through control, studying matchups, reading tendencies, slowing the game down to his rhythm. Both styles work, but one inspires awe while the other inspires admiration. And Kareem says that difference matters. He's also noticed something most fans ignore. Bird's rivals wanted to beat him. It was personal. They wanted to prove they could survive his mind games and come out on top. LeBron's rivals? A lot of them wanted to join him instead. We've seen it for years, stars teaming up with LeBron instead of trying to go through him. That shift says a lot about how the whole competitive culture changed. In Bird's era, pride came first. You proved yourself by going at the best, not by teaming up. In LeBron's era, rings became the only currency that mattered, even if it meant forming super teams. Kareem doesn't say one method is better, just that they reflect two completely different basketball worlds. Kareem isn't picking sides. He just sees two totally different philosophies about what competition even means. And there's another layer fans forget: the emotional bond between a player and their city. Bird was Boston. He embodied that whole blue-collar vibe, stubborn, tough, and ready to outwork anyone. Fans didn't just cheer for him, they saw themselves in him. He never chased a bigger market, never went hunting for a super team, never tried to rebrand himself. From the moment he arrived, he was the perfect fit, loyal, locked in, and built for that city. LeBron's story is the opposite. Cleveland, Miami, Los Angeles, his whole career has been about movement, reinvention, new teammates, new styles. Kareem actually understands that because he left Milwaukee for LA too. But what stands out to him is this: Bird never had to search for the right place. He was the right place the second he stepped on the floor. And that leads into Kareem's biggest point. To him, basketball has always been more than skill or stats. It's a reflection of character. When he looks at Bird and LeBron, he sees two totally different definitions of greatness. Bird was pure competition. No theatrics, no excuses, no spotlight chasing. He didn't care about cameras or narratives. He played for one thing, the win. Everything else was background noise. LeBron represents the modern superstar. Global brand, polished image, voice on social issues, constant reinvention. Kareem respects that evolution, but he also thinks something changed along the way. The essence of competition shifted. Today's stars pick their teammates, control their minutes, shape their public image in real time. Bird never had any of that. His entire story was written through bruises, rivalries, and straight-up grind. Not interviews, not planned narratives, not curated moments. Two different eras, two different definitions of greatness. And Kareem sees value in both, but he knows exactly why the old heads still talk about Bird like he was built out of steel. Kareem talks about this debate with a calm confidence because he's not trying to tear LeBron down. He's reminding people that greatness hits in different layers, one shaped by struggle, one shaped by opportunity. Bird's greatness was carved out of discomfort. He played through injuries that would shut guys down for whole seasons today. His back was a daily fight, nerve pain shooting down his legs, and he still gave Boston 37 minutes a night until his body literally couldn't move anymore. LeBron's greatness is built on maintenance, finding every tool, every routine, every bit of science to keep his body sharp for 20-plus years. One conquered time through pure will, the other refused to let time win through discipline and modern support. Kareem thinks both are incredible, but the emotional weight of Bird's era, the sacrifice, the pain, the pride, that still hits him the hardest. To Kareem, real legends all share one trait. They make the game bend to them. Bird did it with anticipation and insane intelligence, seeing plays before they happened and punishing every mistake. LeBron does it with strength and adaptability, overpowering defenders or switching styles depending on the moment. But the real difference? How they made people feel. When Bird stepped on the floor, opponents felt real fear. They knew something bad was coming their way and they couldn't stop it. When LeBron steps on the floor, opponents feel pressure. They know they have to play clean or he'll break them down. Bird's impact felt personal, like he was coming straight for you. LeBron's impact feels systematic, like you're facing a perfectly tuned machine. Both dominate, but only one, in Kareem's eyes, captured the raw soul of competition the old way. So when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar speaks on the Bird versus LeBron debate, he's not delivering some final verdict carved in stone. He's explaining why the conversation even exists and why Bird's legend still hits with a different kind of force. Kareem's not giving a hot take, he's giving perspective only someone who lived through both eras can drop. He's saying greatness isn't about who played longer, who racked up more points, or who moved the most jerseys. It's about whose presence changed the culture of the sport. Larry Bird did that with zero modern advantages. No luxury travel, no advanced recovery tech, no star-friendly rules. He did it through straight mind games, clutch moments, brutal toughness, and a stubborn refusal to let opponents or his own hurting body control his story. And because of that, he reminded the whole basketball world what the game used to stand for. Pure competition, ice-cold execution, and respect earned the hard way. The kind that stays in your head long after the buzzer. To Kareem, that will always be the highest form of greatness, no matter what the record books say.